I imagine, and this relates to an anonymous question on a Slido channel, I imagine that if I was assigned lead on one of your projects in kind of my volunteer capacity, I would really want to see it till the end. And yes, there might be work requirements that kind of drag me out, but I imagine I would want to go all the way. So how do the volunteers balance their work requirements for their day-to-day job with kind of the need to put in extra time into the work of the Innovation Lab? Does that come out of what is it kind of called, magic time, or how's that done? Do managers allow for a little bit more time? Do they reduce workload? Can you share a little bit on that, please?
Yes, so I think we're quite fortunate to have a very supportive senior management at ITC who recognizes the value of innovation. So a lot of supervisors are quite supportive of it, and we do have the director of country programs who where the lab sits kind of in his office. He supports as well as other senior managers. So when there's a project or an activity, for example, the podcast, where we were bringing in a much bigger group of people to work on that, they were very helpful in terms of helping people to approach their supervisors to say, I would like to work on this with the Innovation Lab. This is what it's going to lead to, and this is the timeline and how much time I would be needing to put into that. So a lot of times based on the activity, it's a conversation that the lab has with the members' supervisor to get them on board. And once the supervisor is on board, usually if we say, you know, the podcast will require 2 hours a week, the supervisor is generally quite flexible. So a lot of times it's not quite a formal structure of how we do it, but it's more a conversation, and we see how it can work with the different teams and the managers. And I think that's also why we have the flexible schedule, because sometimes if a project is just very intense delivery at a certain phase of the year, that maybe means that that person, that team member of the lab cannot be as involved. And so then again, it's a conversation where we say, all right, we know that Q3 is going to be very heavy for you, so we'll hand off that work until you can come back maybe in Q4, unless that person chooses to put in a bit of extra time to stay connected. So it is very flexible, and it's usually a case-by-case approach to make sure that we're having the best fit for the lab, the work that needs to happen, as well as the person and their traditional team and supervisor.
Exactly. And just adding to that, our former executive director said that people at ITC can dedicate or should be dedicating 10% of the time to other activities, specifying innovation. But yeah, we have been saying that, okay, this one, it's a nice encouragement, of course, that it's not compulsory and it's not that everyone has to do it, but it gave us a really good support to be able to say, okay, they have, the people are kind of, they are giving the open door to do innovation and then to lead on activities that are not necessarily under, or not formally under TOS, but then they really contribute to ITC's work anyways, right?